Welcome back to Impulse Plays. I am Crazy Carl Winter here, back with the Elf Lord. Are you the Elf Lord? I don't know. I thought Nick Mayo is the Elf Lord, but maybe you're the Elf Lord now, Chris. Chris, how you doing, Chris?
Hey, not too bad. I'm
Good.
like the elf squire.
The Elf Squire. Okay, well, who's the knight then? I don't know. We'll have to figure out the hierarchy later on. But
I'm like Arnold.
Mike Arnold, yeah, that seems fair. That seems fair. That seems fair. But we got a sweet match today between Full English Breakfast and a white, green, black Oath deck. What I don't remember what you call it, Chris.
I call it New England clam chowder.
New England clam chowder. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Well, they're both pretty sweet decks. Full English Breakfast is a combo deck trying to kill with Valorous Shapeshifter combined with a Phyrexian Devourer and a Triskelion, where you combine the three of those cards to do a bunch of damage to your opponent. And Broccoli Soup is trying to kill you with an Akroma or a Spirit of the Night, if I'm reading that correctly.
Yep.
Or sometimes
And
like
we have
Decree
a
tokens and
decree of justice, treetop village backup.
yeah. So there's a few different things out there. So let's get into the match. So we got me on the left playing Full English Breakfast, classic Full English Breakfast. This is without Hermit Druid, and Chris is playing his Oath deck, which I have labeled as Junk Oath because New England Clam Chowder does not fit on the screen. Like literally, it went across the entire screen. So
So this is the exact list you used to top eight over the weekend at the Duress Crew Regional, right?
yes, the image people will see is the list, the deck pick I took after the event, showing the prizes and stuff as well. So for this Cabal Therapy, I think I named Survival the Fittest because I was playing like I didn't know what Chris is going on, and typically when you see Llanowar Waste, that generally means Survival the Fittest, but in this case it meant Sylvan Library, which is a pretty good
Yeah.
opening for you, I think. Like you get that card advantage going. You got the Windswept Heaths to get some selection going on.
Yeah, I do need to find my white source here with the swords and the disenchant in hand
For
and the
sure.
vindicate.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm starting off on. I mean, I'm playing Feb, but with the City of Brass showing and the Llanowar Waste showing, it's pretty obvious that I'm playing Feb. I don't think there's a lot of other decks that play that combination of lands, but that Duress snags my Survival of the Fittest. My hand just got a lot worse. So still looking for that white
So,
source. Found a
yeah.
treetop village though, so that gives you some pressure as opposed to no pressure at all, which is great.
It is a bit of a greedy mana base. That's what I get for ruining a perfectly good black-white control deck.
For sure. Or a white green oath deck or something. I don't know. There's a lot of things that
True.
can go on there.
Yeah.
Oh, and I drew a Oromancer, which lets me get back my Survival of the Fittest. I don't know that it's great to cast it here without my fifth land in play to recast the Survival. I don't know, because I don't get any value out of it. That said, I can. So actually, no. That. Now I remember what my thought process was here. So should you snag my Survival with a discard spell? Oh well, I use the Cabal Therapy here anyway, but I could sacrifice my Oromancer to Cabal Therapy you, cast my Shapeshifter, it enters as a Oromancer, and gets back the Survival of the Fittest, which then lets me do whatever random things I need to do. Looks like I'm getting some frame rate issues. Oh, this is before I fixed the frames. So it turned out recording on the camera I have now, I was trying to set it at 60 frames per second, and it caps at 30. So that is something I would be upgrading to in the near future, getting slightly cleaner video quality there. But I got
It's
a Wall
still
of
all right.
Roots.
They know what's going on.
They do. And you hit me with the Duress on the Survival of the Fittest. So I think the Cabal Therapy was a little premature. I should have let you disenchant and or vindicate me, and then worked it out from there. But that's okay. That's sometimes what happens. We make mistakes and then we have to live with them. Oh, but I top deck on Unearth to get back the Oromancer, which brings back the Survival of the Fittest, which I can then cast fairly simply.
This is just the most stubborn combo deck. It just refuses
It
to
can be.
uh yeah, it just refuses to give up.
Yep. Again, a nice little Skeletal Shrine for 2. And yeah, the Feb deck is surprisingly resilient. It takes a little bit of finesse to get to that point, but with some practice, you can definitely get, some redundancy going on. I got lucky multiple times. I got lucky and drew the Oromancer. I got lucky and drew the Unearth.
Yeah, well, the same is going on over there. I've been stuck without a white source for any of the three meaningful spells that you know about, and I just got lucky enough to hit
The
a
second
couple of
duress.
duresses.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Magic is a
But
little bit of
even
luck, a little bit of
still,
skill. Yep.
yeah, two duresses and that survival is still back on the board.
Mm-hmm. That said, you do have a white source for disenchant now, so I'm not sure what I would survival for here with the Vara shapeshifter. Because I need the Oromancer to be in the graveyard for my shapeshifter to turn into an Oromancer, but yeah, it's a little bit of a game of chicken here because like I need to wait for you to disenchant me and then survival, but I don't have another Oromancer to get because that's clearly already in play. And I think I go for like Squee or something and hope to draw an intuition maybe for Cabal therapies, so I can get that Oromancer back in the graveyard. So I think we were talking through what we do there. Yeah. So you respond to my survival with disenchant, and yeah, I would like to get Squee, but I can't. I think I have to get another shapeshifter to try and bring back my survival. I don't know. Okay, just go for Squee. Maybe I'll draw another survival. I do have 3 left on the deck, and I have thinned a little bit. But I then have to deal with your Gerard's Verdict next turn. Um, and then a plow on the Oromancer. There's a lot going on here that's gonna make things very, very difficult for me.
True, but notably get to choose with the verdict, and Squee is kind of the anti-verdict card.
True, true, very true, very true. And I do have a threat in play, which gets to attack for 2 damage.
Yes, you do.
Very powerful.
And you're on 2 Squees in this build, so
Yes,
you
yes.
could keep those 2 Squees in the pocket for
Wow.
just such a verdict.
Yep, and
Yeah,
I hit the
here's
intuition, so I get to go for the survivals here. And I don't. Let's see. I don't think I can't see your hand, so I'm like poking my head around to the side to see if I can see what you got going on, but I cannot. So I don't know if you have another disenchant effect. With you checking, I'm guessing you do not at this point, but we will see. I do get to cast the survival and utilize Wall of Roots twice, which is great. I get to use it on my turn and on your turn, which is really, really powerful.
yep.
And am I doing it correctly? I am. Good job, me. Casting survival utilizing the Wall of Roots, and then I can discard with Treva's Ruins to get another thing. Oh, that's a bold City Brass when I know you're going to Gerard's Verdict me. I guess I'd rather you Gerard's Verdict me than Disenchant. I don't know.
So I was choked on white sources. Now I have all the white sources at my disposal.
Right, right. Interesting. Okay, so I mean, you can Verdict me, and then I lose the Squee along with the City of Brass. Get to bring the Squee back next turn, but I can't win off of that. I'm short a creature, basically. So I think playing that City Brass was pretty bad. Oh, you got to Vindicate for the survival. Wow, that's powerful. Okay, but I get to respond to this, get another Squee, get a Shapeshifter, and then I have to hope to draw a Cabal Therapy to get back, to sacrifice my Oromancer with a Shapeshifter in my hand to get back a survival to then continue my chains from there. But I don't know. That's a pretty big ask. I mean, I guess I could draw Intuition as well. That's something I could draw. So I have like 5 live draws, which is not bad.
Yeah, going back to what I said before, is it's just the most stubborn combo deck. Like
True.
everything could get back undone again.
Okay, so I'm not getting a Shapeshifter. Oh, I think I need a Shapeshifter here though. So actually, a thing I noticed here is you actually mistapped a little bit. You could cast the Verdict if you tapped your Treetop Village instead of the second Llanowar Wastes. So you could have
True.
Vindicated and then Verdicted, and I would have been just completely out of everything. So I'm now on the Sekatog Beatdown plan. So Sekatog gets +1/+1 for either discarding a card or exiling 2 cards from your graveyard, and I've got 2 Squeeze, so I can just discard Squeeze over again. But you've got a Swords of Plowshare, so I don't know what I'm thinking here. This is not a good play. I think my only real option. I mean, my other shapeshifters in the graveyard, though. Yeah, I think that's probably why I'm not exposing it. But I'm trying to draw Cabal Therapy anyway, so I don't know why I am not doing that. That's a pretty big error, I think. Oh
So
yeah, reminding me the
is
Survival's
there a
dead.
line that you can still combo off without the Psychotog if it gets exiled to Swords to Plowshares?
Yeah, I don't need the Source Splasher. I don't need the Psychotog. What I need is a Shapeshifter, a Devourer, and a Triskelion, all of which are still in my deck. I still have a Devourer, a Shapeshifter, and a Triskelion. What I
Okay,
really
so
want
that's
to
a
hit,
forgoable piece.
yes, it is. What I would really like to do is hit a Cabal Therapy, and then I ideally would have had a Shapeshifter in my hand, and that would have let me do some shenanigans to get the Shapeshifter back and recast Survival, and then just be off to the races again. But me playing that second land there was a huge mistake that you did not capitalize on, but I think that's okay because you're able to destroy the Survival anyway. So ended up working out just fine.
This Sylvan Library is just putting in work this game.
Yeah, Sylvan Library is a very powerful card. Very, very powerful
It
card.
I think all my favorite cards in pre-modern are a colorless and a green. Sylvan Library, Survival of the Fittest, and Priest of Titania are all
Oh,
colorless and a green.
they are. All right, so I'm pumping my Psychotog a little bit to get some extra life. So those are cards I don't necessarily need. I'm forgetting I have Unearth I can get back my Shapeshifter with. So I've got a few different things. I've got a bunch of draws. I just have to draw them in the right sequence.
Yeah, and that's also what the two squeeze and where you're at with hand size just completely nullifies what I have as two Gerard verdicts. They're
Right.
completely useless.
Yep. Yeah, you got some dead cards. You do have a Treetop Village, which will be a very good blocker. And I decided to cast my Squee. Get it in there. All right, let's go. Yeah, I'm not surviving with it, so it's one of those rare cast Squee and go ham. Ooh, 3 lands. Okay.
Yep. Happily, one of them is a fetch land, so I can get the
Yeah.
other two out of my way on the next library trigger.
Yeah, you get to put you put 2 back. I mean, you could keep extras, but then you just die. But yeah, the Windswept Teeth lets you shuffle your library, which lets you put those 2 cards back in and draw some fresh cards next turn, which will be really great for you. So I guess the question here is: do you attack with Mishra's with not Mishra's with Treetop Village or not? And it looks like you do not, which makes perfect sense. There's no real reason to do so because it's a good blocker.
Yep.
I have another Mesmeric Fiend, Wall of Roots. Okay, so it shuts down your aggro or potential aggro, I should say, that you were attacking anyway. But you got the fetch.
Both of our board states are like what happens if our decks like don't do what we want them to. Like I have no
Right.
oath. I'm out of gas with all the discard and board interruption,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, no survival over there. So it's a matter of like what how good can we pilot the cards we have at this point.
Right. I think you have a little bit of inevitability going for you here because you just have to draw a decree and you're in great shape. Whereas I need to draw very specifically Cabal Therapy to get my Auramancer back into my graveyard, and then an Unearth or a Valrus Shapeshifter to get back the Unearth to get back my Survival of the Fittest.
Library still not being very kind at all. I
Not
think that
so
was two
much.
lands and a Gerard's verdict.
Yeah, it's not great. And you don't have the life to spend on drawing extra cards, which is not great for you. And I unfortunately do not have. I have to keep playing my lands, so which is fine. Like I just don't, have them discard card. There's a decree of justice. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
You can cast it for an angel. The angel is probably good enough. I don't think you want to cycle it here. No, what's actually kind of cute here is you can hold your lands if you really wanted to, and then Gerard's Verdict yourself, and then discard your lands to gain 3 life for each
Game
land you
life.
discard, and get like a crappy Necropotence off of them.
There's also a world where I can Gerard's Verdict my creatures, my oath creatures, back into the graveyard
Mm-hmm.
and shuffle them back in with a Gaia's Blessing. So if
Yeah,
I
that's
wanted to
true.
like 3-for-1 myself, it is possible.
For sure. All right, so you're looking at a cycled decree for 4. Lets you block everything, which is fine. Yeah. You end up with a token, and then I can recast Squee, or I cast a more different Squee. Either one works just fine.
Yeah.
Or you just chump blocking the Oromancer. Interesting choice. And doesn't put it in my graveyard, which is pretty good for you. That said, I think I've got to be pretty happy with you not killing
Yeah.
this
I'm
stuff.
talking.
So yeah, okay. So the leaves you with 3 tokens in play. Ooh, an intuition. Okay, what do am I intuitioning for Cabal therapies here? Looks like I'm pulling a shapeshifter to the front. Cabal therapy. Not sure what you think would be the right thing to go for here. Let's see, get to Slinger.
Oh,
It seems like we had a bit of a Discord error.
here we go.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so I went for Palinchron therapy and get to Slinger. Interesting choices. Therapy away your Gerard's verdicts, and I get to see your land. Okay. So now I'm on trying to draw my Unearth yet again. Ooh, another decree. That is powerful. This one you get to cast for 2 angels very easily, I think.
Probably what's going to be the play here. I'm at 5 life, staring
Mm-hmm.
down 3 creatures that get to go sideways.
Yeah, you're not in any danger of dying, unless I draw Triskelion, but that's it's a pretty tall ask from my side of the board. And let's see that cast decree. Let's go. Get a pair of angels, or yeah, a pair of angels. Yeah.
Really need to get better angel tokens than that.
Tragically, there are no pre-modern era angel tokens, but we can work something out. Well, I imagine that I know Arcade Post does really nice angel tokens. You can get some angel tokens at LobsterCon, or Lobenstein might have some. We'll see.
True.
But I have a couple of Arcade Posts angel tokens. They're pretty nice. I don't
Sadly,
know.
we didn't get any unglued ones. That would have been nice.
That would be nice. That would be nice. Yeah, way back in the day, for folks that are not so folks that are newer to Magic, the company that makes Magic, Wizards of the Coast, did not print tokens into every single pack like they do nowadays. You had to get them as promos or in unsets. And unglued was actually pretty huge value wise back in the day, because you got tokens for cards that did not have them to begin with, and you got full art basic lands, which did not exist outside of anything.
Yes, you did.
So they were very
Well, they
unique
had to
offerings.
find some way to con people into buying joke Magic cards. So,
Yep. It was. I mean, definitely no dumb 12-year-olds would buy them on their own. No way that would happen.
what do
See,
I see? I see a tree tap
powder
village, a
keg,
powder keg,
verdicts.
and a verdict.
Yeah, I think you're in pretty good shape. You just have to not die. Which I
True.
think you want to take the verdict and then draw your land next turn, and then verdict yourself to gain 3 life so that you don't die to an inadvertent Triskelion.
But apparently, I don't do that.
Yeah, living is overrated. The Shootout Village is not an attractive attacking option because I have a 0/5 wall of roots, but you've got 2 flyers and I have none, so that's a pretty easy just smash in. I'm on a 1-turn clock after this, so that's a 1. Yeah, there's just not much I can do here. I'm not sure what my card in hand is, but I need to have Unearth plus. Yeah, there's just a lot I need. And I don't think I have enough time to get all the pieces together. Yep, no, let's scoop it up. Move on into game 2. So sideboarding, I think you've got some pretty good options. You've got Tormod's Crypts, you've got an Aura of Silence, Ray of Revelation, and that seems like it. And then I've got not a lot. I typically bring in things like Utabi Orangutan if I'm not sure if they have Cursed Totem or not, and then Monk Realist sometimes, but there's a lot I bring in here. I got a nice start with a bird, which is always where you want to be with Feb. Fixes your mana. Ooh, wall into not survival. So I had a mulligan. Looks like my mulligan was not very good. So typically I'll stop at like 5. Sometimes I'll go to 4, but against a deck with a lot of discard, I usually won't because I just need to have some sort of game going.
With the right 5 in that deck, you could be very live for a very quick win.
For sure. And I've been live on 4, but it's it varies from game to game and match to match. Depending on if I've won the previous game or if I'm like up a game or not, then I might take a little more risk than not. In this case, I was deciding to just keep more cards.
Notably, I don't have a duress.
Yeah, which does not seem to matter too much against me right now, but it's good to know. Got a nice Skeletal Shrine kicking around there. Ooh, Vindicate's nice. Nice Orosenin Brushland. And that's that Oath of Druids is going to make very short work of me, I think, unless I draw something majorly powerful. Which it does not seem like I am doing, so that seems like a poor play on my part. Yeah, I was about to cast my bird, and I was like, wait, no, I need to hold on to it in case I just draw survival.
I make that mistake all the time on elves because
Mm-hmm.
I try to add to a failing board state, and then I realize that, I put myself farther away from a win than I thought.
Yep. Rare Revelation gets revealed notably from the Oath of Druids, which means that if I do draw survival and you don't hit Guy's Blessing, then I will just lose it.
So that's one of the reasons that I went on a Chroma Spirit of the Night split is that you can run Guy's Blessing because I really don't like the trouble that the Terravore people put themselves in to deck out.
It is a non-zero risk. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's very embarrassing.
True.
So you don't have a lot going on, but you do have an Acroma, which is a 6/6 flying trample, first strike, haste, pro red, pro black, vigilance creature. And my board cannot deal with that very easily. Or at all. So in my classic Feb list, I don't play Swords of Plowshares. And I've been asked by Robin and a few other people, like, do you miss Swords of Plowshares? In this situation, yes. But in most situations, no. Here you just go for your Spirit of the Nights. And you got like no cards left. I think you told me at this point you had boarded out one of your Guy's Blessings, or you had drawn them or something, so you didn't have access to them in your deck. So you were actually very worried about decking yourself. But fortunately,
It's
attacking for
possible.
12.
Oh,
Fortunately, attacking for 12.
it is in my hand right now. Yep.
Yep, I see it is. Oh, I see both. Is that both of them, or is it just one?
I only run one.
Oh, really? Okay, then
Yeah,
yeah,
I only run one because I don't want to have my graveyard gone away all the time with Skeletal Scrying in the deck.
makes sense. Makes sense. Well, I go down to 1, and I can't cast anything realistically speaking. There are outs here. If I have survival, if I draw survival, I can cast survival using a wall. And then I didn't draw survival, but there are outs I think I could have had there with like a perfect draw. Just didn't have it. It would have involved casting survival and then over multiple turns,
Yeah,
like
there's
discarding
been a
stuff and
lot of
doing that.
times that that deck has made a fool of me because I just assume that, it's all locked up and then, you know, the right draw can turn it all around.
Right, right.
So it
Yeah.
looks like I brought in Tormod's Crypt, which is good. It's an Enlightened Tutor target, an Array of Revelation, and apparently that was it. Apparently I didn't even go for the Aura of Silence. Maybe I just assumed it was too slow with
Possibly,
double
yeah.
white.
Yeah, double white and being 3 mana. That's a big ask. Did you not bring in both Swarmod scripts? Do you not have to?
Uh, I would have thought I did.
Maybe not. I brought in realist, yeah, which I imagine I would have. And
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
there we go. Okay, we found it eventually, right before the video cut out. All right, excellent. Any final thoughts on the match before we wrap up?
It takes a lot of things to go right to take down the Feb list or Hermit Feb for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
You really, really, really have to interact with their hand or get an early wasteland,
Yep.
or else you're kind of a sitting duck.
Yep.
They have
Folks,
the
cast your dresses,
ability.
cast your Cabal therapies. That's where you want to be right now.
Oh yeah, yep. They can end the game on the spot. That's a tough situation to be in.
Yep. And as more people start casting Dress and Cabal therapies, the more you want to play decks like Landstill that don't give a crap about them.
When we were in Rochester, uh, I was sitting down with an opponent that you had just played and beaten,
Mm-hmm.
and we could hear you explaining like very early in the round to your opponent how your deck worked, and I commented to my opponent that like it's a pain he knew all too well that if Carl starts explaining how the deck works, you're already dead. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep, that is how that deck goes. But when you don't have a survival fittest in play, your deck is a lot less powerful, which is I don't know how that goes.
that's the same for all the survival decks though.
It's true. It's true. It's true. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And for Chris and myself, have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you in the next video.
Next time.